Yeah, he's not grumpy at all. Okay, so let's start this meeting here. We'll start the meeting of Monday, October 16th, 2023 for the Snoqualmie Parks and Events Commission hybrid meeting. Let's do a call to order and roll call. We'll start out with our Phillies fan here.
Yeah, here.
All right, we'll go around the table.
Nicole Weeby, Community Liaison.
Dina Dean, City Clerk. Emily Anderson, Commissioner.
Mike Chamas, Parks Public Works Director.
Scott Vermeulen, Commissioner.
And Paul Swem, Commission Chair. So we have a quorum. Agenda approval. Anyone move to approve the agenda as is, or additions, subtractions?
Motion to approve.
All right, anyone second?
Sure, I'll second it.
All right, we have a second. All those in order of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, 4-0. Public comments. Anyone have any public comments?
I do have a public comment.
Okay, Heather,
Yeah,
comment
hi.
away.
Yeah, hi. I think I did email Mike in regards to the sidewalks. Mike, did you happen to get my email?
Today?
No, it was a week ago or so.
It's not jumping out in my mind, but I get about 400 a day.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
let me
so-
search.
Okay, well, okay, so I live in the Raven Fern Loop, and I sprained my ankle a few weeks ago in the grass sidewalk part, and then I noticed the Cottonwood sidewalks being dug up. So I was curious when Raven is supposed to appear on the list, because years ago I recall Raven and Fern being pretty high on the list, and yeah, I was wondering, especially after I sprained my ankle and the never-ending erosion of our sidewalk grass. I'm curious as to when that is on the list.
So the only email I have from you is about the Hornets.
Okay.
So if you go to
Maybe it went to junk. It wasn't through city email.
okay, well, if you go to the city website, and this works for
Okay.
anybody, and you go down to Parks and Public Works, and then you go to there you go. They hit it on me. I'll have to find it. I'll send you an email. There's a reporting portal on the website. They moved it. Oh, wait, maybe it's up there.
Then a reminder, you can check out the largest
Is
selection.
the one that says Parks Concerns, Mark? I mean, Mike, where do you?
No, it's under Parks and Streets at the top. And then you see a report of sidewalk trip hazard. If you fill that out, it goes right to the sidewalk guy. And we have a current project running, so it may get added.
Okay, but aren't Raven and Fern on the list of the, the grass being torn up and the trees being replaced?
That's a fill list. I don't know the details of that list. Every street, he has every street on that list, so. I know it's not in the next couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not in the active CIP.
Phil's in charge of that because I've talked to him about it before regarding Curtis. So, yeah. And
Okay.
he's given me like decades long turnarounds on some of the tree replantings. So
I'm not worried about the tree replanting. I mean, I walk my dogs all of the time, and I was just surprised to see that patch of cottonwood replaced over like where we live. It seemed, yeah, I guess I'll reach out and see how that's determined, because this area seems like far more of a hazard. So I'll find that Parks and Streets parts. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
do you have any other comments? Heather?
Oh, nope.
Okay,
That's all.
just anyone else?
Hey, this is Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey guys, I was in the lobby meeting room on the Zoom call, but I wasn't get let in. So I know sometimes the link changes last minute. Or can I just go back in that link and someone can let me in so I can see any screens?
Who's in the lobby of the meeting?
You're in the Zoom lobby, not in the building lobby, right?
So,
Yeah, the Zoom lobby. Thank you.
I don't see him.
Actually,
I
I'll
will-
walk out tonight. But the real
Well,
one.
I hung up from the Zoom meeting when I called in. So, but I'm gonna hang the phone call up and go back in the Zoom lobby. Okay.
Okay, well, while we work that out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we'll close the public comments. Council liaison reports, I guess we don't have our council liaison here unless there's a proxy.
we don't, it's all the way to North Bend to a council.
Okay.
He may show up late.
No problem, we can table that for later in the meeting if he shows up. Moving on to minutes. Approval of the minutes dated September 18th, which are part of your packet here. Anyone have any thoughts or want to make a motion to approve the minutes from September 19th?
Motion to approve.
Okay,
I can second it
I
again.
second.
Oh, there we go.
oh, okay, Emily and Ryan split the second. All those in favor of the approval of the minutes from September 19th, 2023, say aye.
I think it's September
Aye.
18th,
Aye.
if that matters.
Aye.
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 Did we have that? Was it not September 19th?
It says the 18th on the agenda, and I looked at my calendar, and that was Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the actual minutes. Do we need to? The meeting minutes say September 19th, approve with the edit that we changed the 19th to the 18th. I guess as a writer on the approval of the minutes from September. Let's kind of start that one over again. Does anyone want to move to approve the minutes from September with that modification from the 19th to the 18th?
Sure, I'll move to approve.
Okay, I'll go ahead and second that. All right, all those in favor of the minutes from September 18th with that edit in the minutes as they appear in the packet, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That passes unanimously. Okay, so let's see, regular business. Discussion about canceling the December 18th, 2023 meeting. It's my recollection that that's been typical in years past.
I would agree with that.
Okay, I do miss the Christmas lights contest, but
Oh, yes. I believe that has gotten a life of its own through the community in the last couple of years.
oh,
Seen some things online, so. Yeah,
it's no longer city sponsored. It's just a community.
that's correct. Yeah, I arrived in 2018 and we didn't, I think the last time it was done was in 2017 or maybe 2016.
Right,
And then, but yeah, I've seen something in the last couple of years that I think that there's something that goes on in the
Okay.
community.
okay.
For the individual homes, we're not talking the city lighting, but the homes.
Mhm. Does that include both the Ridge and Lower Snoqualmie?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, interesting. Any other thoughts on canceling the December 18 meeting? It's been typical since I've been on the commission in 2014, so
I think it makes sense.
yeah, with everyone having plans and whatnot, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Should we vote to cancel that meeting? Render a vote? Does anyone want to make a move to officially cancel the December 18, 2023 meeting?
Ryan moves to cancel the meeting.
Okay, anyone to second that? I'll second. Ooh, that's 2 seconds in one meeting. All those in favor of canceling December 18th, 2023 spec meeting, say aye.
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 All right, approved unanimously. Moving on to summary of commission accomplishments for 2023, the presentation for November 13th city council meeting. If you scroll down on your agenda to the draft of, it looks like it's a working draft that you have for all of the various commissions and groups sort of strung together. I suggested the additions of the Parks and Events Commission 2024 goals, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals that you see there for discussion purposes. My recollection, Mike, was that we were going to be very involved with the PROST plan. If I recall, you mentioned that at the last meeting. Guidance on the community center YMCA expansion and related features to that in 2024. Guidance on new parks, features, equipment, and space usability, because we've heard about various, the outfit that you hired is going to be reviewing that as part of their work. Trails, advancements on trails maintenance, expansion, connectivity, and wayfinding. Wayfinding intended to sort of umbrella the signage instrument for that. Input and feedback for community events, and then just kind of a general mentality that I and others have had since we've been part of the commission, just being receptive to public feedback and ideas and being eyes and ears in the community. So that was sort of, those were some of the things I threw out there. And any discussion or thoughts or modifications?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I thought you nailed it when you put the goals together. Just a fine tuning, if this is something that we're going to present to the council, when I look at the advancement of trails, maintenance, expansion, connectivity, and wayfinding, I just like to add the word safety. So connectivity, safety, and wayfinding.
Great idea.
Within the trails. The next one, input and feedback for community events. If this is truly our goals for next year, which I love the exercise of putting this together, I'd like it to say input and feedback for all community events. I'm gonna expand that a little bit. So if we can add the word all. And then the last item, be receptive to public feedback and ideas, the eyes and ears in the community. I like it. I think we might say it better with, and I'll let you see it, participate in community forums and events to seek input, public feedback.
Okay, say that again.
It's right here.
Participate in community forums and events to seek input and public feedback.
Yeah, the be receptive, I read it and I felt like I was in a parent teacher conference for a minute and I was being told I needed to be more open to do that.
I think where my mind was at when I wrote that was just sort of talking to neighbors off the cuff and getting feedback from neighbors sort of in more of an informal sense. But what you're suggesting, maybe we could add something that is more a meeting participation.
Yeah, for example, there's an open house on the on 2 nights. I don't know what date it is, but 18th. I think those would be great venues for us to participate in our capacity, not as a city employee, but just to hear firsthand what people are saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you there. I'll be happy to go.
So you wanted to say to provide input and feedback?
It's really seeking the input and feedback.
Speak the right word?
respond to. Respond to and convey. Serve as the middleman, the middle pupil.
That's sort of where what I had in mind was sort of, we're kind of like a radar. Or we run interference in scenarios like I did in the past where staff probably is better left out of that situation. I ran interference with an angry resident once a few years ago and then gave the feedback from that to and invited them to the meeting in more of a calm. It was sort of a calming thing.
I mean, either way,
Because
I think
we're sort of like public officials and we are able to engage in the community in ways staff cannot, to support the staff and kind of, talk to somebody over a coffee or a beer, like what's on your mind? And then just sort of cull together the information and bring it to the group sort of thing.
Well, you're perhaps filtering the information. I know that EDC feels that way when they, different commission, different endeavor, mission. But when they meet with businesses, often the businesses are more free to speak their mind to a resident commissioner, and then the commissioner will
Exactly.
then filter the information and then relay it anonymously to staff. So they're a filter. I get what you're saying. You're kind of the ambassador out in the community, but
Mhm.
filtering. I don't know what the right, I understand what you're saying with receptive, but this is not my report, it's your report.
Right,
So,
right. But then you're bringing more of a showing up to meetings and being an ambassador in that kind of
an
context.
active participant in those events. Like when you guys had the the fair up at the
block party.
block party, and you had a booth there about the community center, those type of things.
Thanks, Nicole.
Well, you were there as well, but. Well, and I think that if you're at, let's say, the comp plan on the 18th, we can give that an example. If there was a question from the community. About playgrounds or the inclusive playgrounds or the splash park, like you guys. Were a representative of the population, of the residents that provided feedback to help make that decision. We didn't go out and ask everybody out there, what type of park did you want? You guys provided that feedback, so. Just letting the community know, your neighbors, like, I'm representing you.
Right.
Could we actually say like something to the effect of serve as ambassadors
Or liaisons.
or liaisons for parks related?
I hear the term advocacy coming up, something as a community advocate to parks and space concerns or something to that effect. That's how I wrote it.
I don't know. So. Advocacy with public feedback and ideas, maybe at the beginning, or should that be its own line? Just advocacy with public feedback and ideas. And then the new bullet, participate in community forums and events to seek input and public feedback. Or are we getting too?
I think we're getting too big now. What about just expand our participation in public input, or just something very, it's just.
Expand our participation with public input. Does that just sort of less is more cover it?
I mean, for next year, there's gonna be some active work on the park element of the comp plan, and that would be something to be able to
How
have
it starts this year.
this year, but I mean, that would be a role that they could help serve so that we're adequately getting feedback from the community on that particular element regarding parks and trails.
Okay.
Seek out, explore, new life.
New
Hopefully so.
civilizations in parks.
What was that last line that you both just said?
That we just said,
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, how about serve as liaison
Was it expand or
It was
participation in public input?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that.
Serve as liaison and service liaison and expansion of public input. Is that what you were saying? Sorry, my brain is scrambled.
I just think something as simple as expand our
Yeah, drop the
participation in
word
public
liaison.
opinion. Because we all have our own, our own agenda, right? What we came on the committee to do, but that doesn't necessarily incorporate what all of our citizens want.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What have you been able to synthesize so far from what we've been talking about?
It's recorded, so.
Oh, it's recorded. Okay. So let's do the final kabunch on that. Let's capitalize it and underline it. What's the final wording? Since we've sort of been
Does
doing
everyone
scrambled
like
eggs here.
a simple bullet point that says expand our participation in public input? It's a very broad encompassing.
Does that sound good, Heather and Ryan? We
Ryan
got
thinks
thumbs-
so, yes.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, less is
It's
more,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then the
That
only,
sounds great.
the only last item, if these are our goals that we're committing to for next year,
Okay.
where does the model train museum and the Riverwalk project fit in to this? Or does it?
So the model train museum, probably not, because it's not a park or a special event. Riverwalk, definitely, and that's active. I mean, Dylan should be provided a report, so we can arrange that at the next meeting.
So it would fit into the advancements on trails?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I was gonna say, should we throw in a bullet, guidance on projects as needed? Sort of
Parks and Trails projects as needed.
guidance on parks and trails projects as needed, kind of like what you put at the end
Well,
of
I
the
think
job description.
if we just take the advancements on trails and add a comma. So it's advancement on trails, comma, maintenance, comma. It seems to incorporate that.
Okay, and we were also throwing in the word safety there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to throw safety into that line, advancements on trails maintenance, expansion? Connectivity and wayfinding? That sound good to everyone?
So I'm hearing two different things. We're adding safety, but you also want a comma after trails.
Yeah, so because the way I read it without a comma, advancement on trails maintenance.
Yeah, everything's related to trails, but with the comma, then it's trails and all these other separate maintenance of
Yeah.
what, expansion of what.
Good point.
We're attaching maintenance to, it's specifically trails
Yeah,
maintenance.
you're right.
And
you're
then the other,
No. Correct. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so keeping the trails, no comma, and then sticking safety, maybe at the end.
Yeah.
So comma after connectivity. Wayfinding.
is it
And-
obvious that wayfinding involves signage and everything related to that?
I think so.
Okay. I was trying to find a,
Actually goes beyond that.
it does.
It implies branding also.
It's,
Ooh, branding,
yeah,
fun word.
It
No.
can be.
Oh,
it's a very Roger
It can
Dean
also be a nice-
concept.
oh no. Just not to be nitpicky, but
Please do.
the word expand is our only, it's really our only verb besides be receptive to. What if we changed it to, because we have guidance, advancements, input, and then expansion of our participation of public input and opinion. Do
Okay,
you see my,
Hmm.
why I would suggest that?
mix it up a little bit.
Well, otherwise we should put something like provide guidance on Snoqualmie Parks Recreation, provide guidance. We would stick an action word in there.
Sure.
Stick a verb in the
Absolutely.
beginning of all those. So if we don't want to do that, we could just easily put expansion of our participation of public input and
Yeah,
opinion.
I get what you're saying.
I think it's,
Do you?
it's something small.
Do you
It's
want to
not
say
that,
provide guidance or do you want to say expansion of?
I think it could, there's pros either way. If we want it to be stronger, it could be expand. But I personally think that expansion of our participation is fine and fits with the way the rest of it is worded.
Okay, I agree with what she said. So,
Okay,
all right. Yeah, because I just sort of, I think I did this in less than 5 minutes.
In your bathtub.
Well, some of the ideas came in the bathtub, but not the actual writing. I would have had sparks flying and a dead computer.
On the laptop.
Okay,
Anyone else with any thoughts?
did we talk about including photos if possible? Was that something that we talked about last time?
Photos of what?
Of like the, awesome new playground,
the river.
the river, yeah,
Part.
is there?
You mean as part of the presentation at
Mhm.
council?
Mhm,
I
like
don't
on this
remember
slide,
any prior discussion until now on that. Should incorporate in the report. Just a visual in this draft that we're looking at. Okay,
yeah, just sticking visuals in there if we
We
can.
can reach out to Dan and get you some pictures.
okay. Probably like if I'm gonna focus on the Riverview playground, maybe just a picture of that then. Keep it simple.
Yeah, are we gonna review accomplishments as well? Or we're done with goals, right?
Unless anyone else has any other ideas on or modifications for the goals, we'll move on. We'll back up a little bit. And look at the accomplishments.
No, you did great, those were great,
Yeah.
Okay,
thanks for doing that,
thanks for the input.
more baths in your future. But we're still-
Absolutely.
There you go.
The accomplishments here, was any of this modified from the last meeting? I'm
I'm not sure.
trying to remember if,
Again, I look at highlights. And although adopted bylaws is important, I don't see it as a highlight within the mission statement. And therefore I would remove that.
we can do that.
I would at least not have it be first. We want to
True.
prioritize like the cool thing we did, really the big one this year has been Riverview Park. Right, so maybe
Sure.
leading with that, we're kind of going in a hierarchy of cool stuff we've accomplished.
I think mentioning the bylaws, I know it seems trivial, but looking at the arc of my time spent here with the group and how we're in a much better and more consistent working order now as a group compared to the past. It is actually, I think, a feat. What if we bump that to as the very last item? Would you?
Can we vote on that?
We can?
Yeah.
Okay, whether or not to. I guess the vote is whether or not to include adopted bylaws as the last bullet point in this. Does anyone want to make a motion to include that?
I have a question before we can either vote first, or I have a question.
Okay,
Are you going to speak to what that entails? Are you just going to say we adopted bylaws, or you're going to say kind of why that is an accomplishment?
I did not plan on elaborating on that unless somebody asked a question,
Okay,
so.
That's a good question. Is there a time element yet on how long each group has?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes, so we probably don't want to speak
yeah,
on.
yeah, we don't,
bylaws.
we're not,
I planned
Not-
on concentrating on the Riverview Park
okay,
and maybe a couple other things, but I was gonna keep it pretty simple.
Good idea.
Yeah. So
You can put it on the slide, just don't
Yeah,
read the slide.
You don't want to read your slides
Yeah,
no,
because they can.
I wasn't gonna read the slides,
so you could sneak it in that way.
that's a good idea.
well, what are you asking for? You're asking
but I
to
was
make a
going back to
motion
what I
to
was,
vote.
to what you suggested. Does anyone want to move to include adopted bylaws as something that the group accomplished as the last bullet point in these accomplishments before the council? Does anyone want to make a motion for that?
But a point of clarification, as Mike just mentioned, we can, and I've kind of gone full circle on putting it there because of what you said. we can list it, but simply not mention it. You would have a last bullet point, but you're gonna spend most of your time talking about the Riverview Park and the beautiful.
I'm not even gonna mention the bylaws
Right.
to the council unless somebody asks a question about it.
Let's totally put it on there,
Yeah.
especially, yeah, because if that's what we see as an accomplishment, let's list
Okay.
it, let's include it.
All right, does someone want to make a motion to include that?
I make a motion to include it.
Okay. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Okay, all right. So those in favor of including mentioning adopted bylaws in our accomplishments as the last bullet point, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Ryan, did you say aye or?
I said aye.
Okay, so that passes 5-0. I know it looks a little bit redundant. I'm not gonna bring it up at council, but if somebody asks, I'll do a quick elaboration on it.
There you go.
So. All right, my question, let's look at the bullet point, attended volunteer appreciation event. I didn't attend that. Should we, who attended that?
I
No,
thought you did.
not me.
You were the one that did.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the park event. Yeah, I attended that, but do we want to? I
Yeah, is
mean,
that an accomplishment? Do you feel like you accomplished something by going? It's really up to you because. you're the one
I
who
don't
went.
really. I mean,
It's an accomplishment that I went.
What if we took the provided input on community events and simply said provided input on and attended community events? Just as a broader statement to versus simply highlighting one event.
The volunteer appreciation is not a community event.
Oh, okay,
It was a volunteer recognition.
yeah.
It's for their bags, right?
Attended the international festival.
Mhm.
And who went to fireworks?
in other words, we don't want to throw out any names. We just want to address the group entire rather than calling out which commissioner attended what event. I guess is what I was trying to.
Okay.
Attended volunteer appreciation event. I don't know. I personally do not feel that's necessary to include
Okay.
in there. What are the thoughts of others?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'll follow your lead on that one. You're
Okay.
the person who went, so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, I made it there safely, so that was an accomplishment, but. So why don't we eliminate that then, if that, it sounds like everyone is in agreement on that. Provided public comment regarding splash pad project.
I like that. I think it's important, but can we take credit for public comment?
Yeah, so that was me. Was that me?
Right.
The one what we're talking about? And I both provided public comment, but I also definitely made them aware that I was on this commission. And so in kind of a de facto way, spoke for the commission.
Mhm.
So we could, I don't know if we can tweak the wording on that.
But you were involved. You were the first people to have eyes on it.
Yeah,
And you approved the design, so you were definitely involved in that.
Do we want to? I guess the question here is, do we want to? Call out an isolated event in which we provided public comment at a council meeting or speak more in an umbrella
Mhm.
supportive sense of the commission for that particular project?
I would speak more of a broader sense.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you've already got it on your bullet point.
Especially how
about
that conversation went.
Yeah, God. Woo, I didn't really, I needed.
I would just say,
Something
and
for
Paul,
that.
I think you and Heather and I can speak to this, the years you guys have worked together. This past year has been one of your most meaty years. Like you had 2 parks that you guys participated in the commenting and the feedback and decision making. I definitely think those should be your top bullets. But you can probably you can bring it down to 2 different bullets, approved, provided feedback to council. That's what you did, Emily, right? You provided feedback
Yeah,
to council, so I think that,
Well, you reported to council.
I did, reported, speaking really for 2 entities. So provided feedback or reported, whatever verb we want to use.
Could we just,
We could just,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, you can just put that as like a smaller bullet or just know to speak on that when you talk about the splash pad. It doesn't necessarily need to be its own big bullet here.
Could we just modify that bullet to provided feedback at council meetings on various projects
Yeah,
and just sort of make it in more of a general sense? What do you think, Mike? Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Because it seems a little bit redundant to call out the splash pad project when it's already listed under the reviewed and provided input on.
I think so too.
But I think it's important to note that somebody from the commission attended a council meeting to support a project. Which is why I was suggesting that modification.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Do I recall someone suggesting a modification on provided input on community events? Did you bring up?
Well, I had mentioned provided input and attended community events.
Okay,
So there's kind of 2 separate things there though, right? We provide input when Nicole tells us what's going on. And
to
like,
Nicole,
yeah, to Nicole,
which
which is,
I think the intent was the spirit of that originally.
yeah, and then separately, we attend various events. Do we just attend them because they're fun, or are we attending them as like part of the commission?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of both, but have we done it in a way that we're like, oh, look, here we are, like, were any of us a visible member of the commission at the block party?
With it
that
being
day?
a commission accomplishment, I think it's assumed that. I'm assuming in my mind, Cy, that. Attended community events is under the guise of being a commissioner,
Yeah,
since it's a commissioner report.
yeah, I think we could go that
And
route
we
too,
happen to have fun too, I guess.
but as soon as we put on our commissioner hat, then we get praised for going to anything,
That's right.
because we're available then.
So then that would, the last bullet there, provided input on community events, that's one, but then we add an extra bullet, attended community events. Does that sound right? Sound good? Heather and Ryan? All right,
Yep, that works for me.
okay. Is there anything else in our accomplishments that we've overlooked? Or spaced on that we should call out?
Yeah.
Please.
Get a quorum at every meeting this year.
We talked about this last meeting, whether or not that was enough of an accomplishment to mention or not. But it's gotten,
I think that's another, we'll put it up there. Don't talk about it, but put it up there because
Should we smush that in with the bylaws?
to those that know, that's a big deal.
okay,
is it
And there are
quorum or
those-
is it the fact that it's a group of individuals that, I don't wanna say commitment level, because I don't wanna disparage on the people that were here before, but it's a new commission predominantly and.
You outlasted your predecessor.
Or is that something I could simply verbalize in my presentation to the council as a little snippet?
I would put it on the screen and not mention it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, because you've got an audience of other commissions.
True,
Hmm.
but each commission has their own unique flavor or vibe
Yeah,
or mission, you know, like.
right.
The Arts Commission, which I represent, like they're really out there.
Yeah.
It's on the ground doing stuff. But to give you an example, their presentation is gonna be more visual. Like here's pictures of the events, here's the branding, here's what we did. They are also a new group of commissioners. They might address that in that they're a new group. They did a community survey to find out what people wanted, so. But I wouldn't be afraid of what to say in this in comparison to everybody else, because everyone has a different.
I guess I was
Mission, yeah.
referencing, we had a quorum and, kind of raise our fist about that.
That is huge for
Is it-
this group.
Is it a big,
This,
yeah.
this is a big deal for this group. Do I think it needs to be your top bullet? No, but. It also could be hand in hand, like we've given you guys some good, we've come to you with needs. We really didn't have any needs necessarily in those other years, so maybe there wasn't this desire, I don't know, so I think they both go hand in hand.
How do other groups do with quorums?
They normally don't have a problem.
We've had
Okay.
a little bit, actually, not to be contrary to Mike Buckley, but EDC, there's been some months that we've struggled. These are business owners, they're hard, Arts, for the most part, we do get there. Historically, yes, this commission has struggled in the past.
It has.
But you guys have been doing a phenomenal job.
So let me ask you this, because I don't know the greater room at large at this council meeting. If we call that out as one of our accomplishments, like a last bullet point, are we showing up other commissions
No.
that we shouldn't
No,
be
you're
showing up?
showing that you're rising up to the level perhaps that they function at.
But how many of them
Okay.
know that we haven't functioned at that level?
Don't.
How much
It
weight
will
rate
be
does
the
this
coun-
carry?
it will be the council and the mayor that knows.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's who your audience is. Your audience.
That's
is
right.
together.
Yeah, there's not a competition between councils.
because I don't wanna
You're-
create
But it could
that
be one.
tone at all.
Yeah.
But you're like, but I'm competitive, yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna show up in a full chainmail with a sword and I really am not, believe it or not. My last question, going back to something that you mentioned. Are we being visual enough in our presentation with one photograph? Because you mentioned the Arts Commission, that they're really visual in their presentation. Are we visual enough, or does it matter?
So when the Arts Commission saw the document that you sent, I didn't know if it was the Dina sent, I didn't know if it was a sample or if that really was where you guys had landed on what you had submitted. I will say they looked at that and were like, that's a lot of slides and a lot being said. They condensed it to like 2 slides. That also just being their more mind, everyone's different.
That's where I would lean is no more than 3 slides.
Let's just
and have
probably-
your speech type.
So I think
Right.
that their first slide is their mission, because that was something that they did. Again, this is a new group of arts commissioners. They worked on their mission, so they fine-tuned the mission. And
Okay.
then the next slide.
Which is our
very-
slide number 1.
And at their slide, the next slide's it's a lot on it. I mean, they probably could extract it and make 2 slides out of 1 because it's very full of branding or pictures. But then whoever, and I don't know if they've decided who's gonna speak yet, but whoever's gonna speak will probably just do a little bit of a bullet of here's the different events that we did. But it's also, but
Okay.
you have a great opportunities with the Riverview Park and the splash pad to have a visual. You have a great opportunity for that.
I got a great shot of Sasquatch.
Yeah. And then we'll put Nicole's recommendation right below the Sasquatch
Rawr.
photo. Yeah.
Should we put the picture of Riverview Park underneath our mission statement? So you can read the mission statement and then say, and one of our proudest accomplishments
Yeah.
is this.
That's what I was wondering, if you mentioned 3 slides, to keep it succinct. And I'm looking at slide 2 of our accomplishments, and we're adding another bullet point. I guess we can shrink the font a little bit to put that all on 1 page,
I mean, you're gonna have to if you're,
if we're trying to keep it to 3.
I emailed this to you so you guys can make your own changes.
Okay. Should we throw the splash pad schematic and the Riverview Park photo under the mission statement?
I think just the Riverview Park, just
one photo.
open with that,
Okay,
I think.
I think your number 1 concern is your font size. Don't go below 18.
right,
That's your number 1 concern. After that, PowerPoint will actually design the slide for you. Just give it the picture, tell it to go and pick the one you like. But don't go below 18 outside,
Right,
because you won't be able to see it down there. It is a terrible, terrible projector.
okay. But to make a little bit better use of space on that first slide, the photo should probably go on the first page.
Out
Under
of
the
the
mission
three?
statement.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't think that confuses the mission statement.
No,
No. Okay, so, we were gonna add a bullet there under accomplishments to, in conclusion, attended community events after provided input on community events.
I think now that we've talked about not too much on there, maybe we leave it off. And I would vote to leave the quorum off as well and just really keep it highlights.
Any other thoughts?
it could also, if we're keeping adopted bylaws, we could say adopted bylaws and met quorum. I don't know how many months out of the year do we do? We could just
Yeah.
add one more sentence there.
And met quorum at all meetings.
Yeah. Did we?
Mhm.
I was gone for a while. There you
We
go.
did
Oh, that is, yeah. That doesn't hurt
put
it.
that all on
Just put it in one line.
push it onto the bylaws
Yeah.
line. What do you think?
I agree. And we're not going one level down
Yeah, we're not adding
Okay.
any.
And that will be the last bullet point.
Okay,
and you're not reading it. They'll see that.
And I won't reference it unless somebody asks a question, and then I can do a less is more elaboration. Okay, any other thoughts on the accomplishments? All right. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Moving on to community liaison update, special events.
Yeah, I can keep it super brief.
Okay.
I'm working with the downtown merchants and the Ridge merchants for community Halloween trick or treating. So we'll be starting on the Ridge it's the 28th. So the Ridge is 1 to 3 and downtown is 2 to 4. So the city supports that with the marketing and then helping little starter kits of candy. But some really good engagement, and I'm helping to bring the Ridge merchants together for a group that they haven't had in several years. And so there's some good energy and participation in that. City staff is beginning to work on the holiday lighting, and the contractor that we hire and pay for with some different grant funding as well as some city funds has begun working today in the rain on the lighting through the community downtown and on the Ridge. So we should be able to present to the community the same level of lighting that we did last year.
great.
With a little bit more, but we're
with a
cobbling
few surprises.
few surprises and we're cobbling it together.
Huh. Prizes by cobbling.
Cobbling might be, payment. Gonna get this invoice in on time or, different things, so.
That's exciting. The lighting always looks really good.
Were you looking for help to put the lights up?
No, we're good on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
because we were very helpful in a Rodney Dangerfield sort of way a few years ago.
Good to know,
Yeah,
good to know.
nothing broke, but
Okay.
you know,
I always
It
tell
was-
staff you have Griswold and you have downtown Bellevue and we land in between.
gotcha.
That's my goal. When the guys know that, we're in sync. And we're not looking for Seahawk gazebo colors, which they've done in the past
Yeah.
as well.
Great.
Nope, it'll be red and gold.
And I want to bring this up because I want to try to get as much community participation as possible. It's at the Ridge Library for the comp plan open house
Yes.
this Wednesday at what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes.
Sorry,
Okay.
what's happening there? Which library?
The Snoqualmie Library on the Ridge
Mhm.
in the meeting room. There'll be a comp plan for the public. We will have pizza and water, but yeah, we do encourage participation.
6 to 7:30.
Yes.
Okay,
It's a
I will
meeting,
be
so I'm
there
guessing no
representing
children.
parks.
No, you can come.
say
It's
again.
not formal. No, kids can
I
come.
will be
Yeah.
there representing parks.
It's more about kind of walking the room and just kind of talking with different city representatives, and then there'll be different easels of like different topics if you wanted to put your comments on it.
Probably be talking about the community center, actually. It's probably what I should be talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's one night too late though.
okay. All right, so.
Thank you for that. That's helpful.
Absolutely, because that's that's the window to our future. That's what a comp plan is, having input on the future of your community. So that's where the rubber meets the road. So those of you who are interested and have ideas, please attend.
Is there a blurb about that anywhere? Like on the website?
There is on the website.
I believe it's on the front door as well.
Okay. I like to take those blurbs sometimes and put them on my neighborhood Facebook page. To see where people can go.
Anything else on special events? Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
For future discussion. Anyone have any thoughts on? Well, Mike, you see the pipeline and the light at the end of the tunnel coming at us straight on, so.
We'll need to talk about the pool. There's a big meeting tomorrow about the pool. So I'll report back about that.
Okay.
If you'd like Dylan to come and talk about Riverwalk, we can do that.
Yeah.
You should also get an update on Sandy Cove. So some very good things happened there. So
Okay. Can I leave it to your judgment to prioritize those things?
Yep.
Can Dylan, yeah, I'd like to put goal number 1 as a future item. That's the pros plan. Can Dylan talk about the
Yeah,
outline on
we
that?
can talk about that too. The first meeting is scheduled, it's in November. So it's next month. First public meeting on that.
Mhm.
Would the timing be appropriate for him to show up at our November meeting, or?
Yeah.
Does that need to develop in January is one?
No.
Okay,
Yeah, you should definitely be at the next meeting.
okay. Okay,
Vacations are canceled.
Would you like us to attend on November 13th? You'll be there. Do you want us to
I'll be there.
heckle?
If you don't have any, if you're available, I invite you to be there. That'd be nice. You can heckle, you have to heckle me. Or
Cheering
Mhm.
section.
throw fruit,
Okay.
something. But give me flashbacks to my old planner days when I had agron crowds behind me. So,
Where are they on the agenda, Tina?
It's said in the beginning under
Okay,
presentation.
good.
It's gonna be a very heavy calendar though, so.
Yeah,
So we
I
can
just
show
wanna
up
make
and then
sure
we
you
can
were on
head
the-
out.
early part, not the budget part.
Yeah.
So-
It's at
pretty-
7.
Yes.
it's pretty free flow. You won't be judged for leaving.
Yeah, when you're
early.
done.
Well, I wouldn't, I'd be like, judgment all you want. I'm still gonna go.
Just have to not slam the door, which I think I've done a couple
Uh-oh.
times. Yeah. Oh, it makes a noise. Okay, anything else for future discussion? Any other thoughts, requests? Heather, do you want to do an elaborate sidewalk presentation at a future meeting? No? Okay, all right. I'm just ribbing you. Okay, if there isn't anything else, we'll adjourn the meeting. Does anyone want to make a move to adjourn the meeting since we don't have a liaison report? We'll defer that to next month.
And he's not feeling well.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, anyone want to second that?
I can second it.
Emily seconds. And all those in favor of adjourning? Aye?
I.
I.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
It must be raining sideways out there for that.